Okay, I think we are live. This is my first live video going to Facebook, and this is my first live video doing Facebook and YouTube together, and I'm super nervous right now. I'm just checking to make sure everything's kind of going in. It looks like my stream health isn't the greatest right now. I'm in a hotel room, and I'm just wondering if this is the best thing to be doing. So, guys, this is my Raw and Real series. If you guys those who are watching right now, can you just let me know in the chat how the stream's coming through so I know if it's decent or not? I'd love to know if this is actually coming through in good quality, because I'd hate to do this video. I'm so nervous, and then for the quality to come out kind of crap. So if I know there's a few of you guys in. Okay, Facebook's loud and clear, good to go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. All right. So guys, this is my Raw and Real series. It's a vulnerability series that I've decided to do. And yeah, I'm scared shitless right now. I'm not going to lie, because this is something that I felt my higher self kind of came in and told me I need to do. I'm going through a major heart opening right now. And being in my masculine energy is very easy for me. It's something that just comes very natural. But being in my feminine energy, which is allowing myself to be vulnerable and allow myself to be seen in the ways that I don't usually show myself, is pretty freaking scary. And okay, thanks, Frank. The picture freezes for a second. So I'm recording this too, just in case this doesn't come out the way it should on live, so I have a backup that I can upload. But I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to start this. This is my episode 1 of Raw and Real, and today I want to share with you what I've been going through, because it's been pretty scary when I think about doing this whole thing. You know, I have something that I've been kind of going through that I want to share with you guys that is probably going to make me cry throughout this video, but that's okay. We're all going to be here. We're all going to do this, together. So when I announced through my newsletter last week that I was going to do this Raw and Real series, that night I went to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night at 2:55 in the morning, which is something that had been happening frequently throughout that week at that exact time. And I laid there in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. And I was wondering to myself, why am I not being able to go to sleep? Like, what's on my mind? And I realized I kept going back to this live video that I'm doing right now, that I told my whole audience that I'd be doing this Raw and Real series. And my ego started to come in and started to tell me, like, the little voice started saying, oh, it's stupid. Why did you announce that? Why are you even going to do this video series? And so I realized that my ego was wanting to sabotage this idea, which I knew my higher self really wanted me to do, but I was scared. And I thought to myself, well, this is just silly. Why am I so scared? Because I do videos all the time. I have like over 200 videos on YouTube, and whether I go live or it's like, recorded, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's not a big deal. But for some reason, this was really scaring me. And I realized that I didn't feel safe. When I kind of got honest with myself, I realized doing this video, being vulnerable, I don't feel safe at all. And when I realized that I didn't feel safe, I broke down into tears in bed, like just burst into tears. And this idea of feeling safe is something that's coming up in my healing journey right now. And for those of you who may have been following me for the last year, know that I went through something last November. I made an announcement last November that I may kind of take a break from my YouTube channel and my videos because I had kind of gotten some news and understood some things about my body that were kind of scary. And what happened is that I just got an outpouring of support from all of you guys, and I ended up spurring that healing, started to spur some creativity, but I didn't really share with everyone what had been happening to me. And so almost 2 years ago, I had found out that I had, through an annual checkup, that I had black spots on my cervix. And that really scared me because that's something that I had been dealing with since I was about 21. It's why I went to seek out a naturopath when I was 21 to do healing. And I found out that through my naturopath that all my sacral energy was frozen. My second chakra energy was super, super frozen. And she was able to do past life regression with me, and we went through and we healed a lot of stuff. We did homeopathy, and I was able to get the cervix healed during that time. But having it resurface again almost 2 years ago as this issue started to scare me because I could tell that it was something deeper than what we had worked on 20 years prior. And so having this idea of black spots really started to scare me because the first thing that kind of came to my head was cancer. And I still want to have kids. And so this news really kind of shook me to my core. And it scared me so much that I was afraid to do anything about it. I was afraid to address it. It's weird when like this stuff happens that sometimes you get so scared, you get paralyzed to any solution. It's almost like I just wanted to avoid it or pretend it didn't actually exist. And through a friend, I went to her and asked her if she had any guidance coming through on Channeled of how I could heal this area of my body. And hi Frank, hi Lisa, hi Marcus, and LL, hello. So when I found out, the message that came through was that it was a lesson, and that's all that they could tell me, and that I had to go through this lesson. And fast forward 6 months later till about this time last year when I made the announcement on the YouTube channel, I had suffered a very, very, very early miscarriage. And that idea that perhaps my body wasn't going to be able to help me fulfill my dreams of becoming a mom one day just brought me to my knees. It was really heartbreaking thoughts to have. And so I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. And so I ended up, on my podcast, we had Rebecca Barfoot on. And when I was listening to her, my higher self just came in, and I just knew that I had to work with her. And I didn't know why, I didn't know how, I just knew I had to. And so I set up a session with her. And a lot of her guides came through, my Pleiadian family came through. And they told me that it was a lesson that I agreed to fulfill in this lifetime of not just healing the ancestral lineage of my family for the women in the family, to heal the DNA through my body, but to also assist in the Divine Feminine Collective. So my body was like a surrogate to assist in the clearing, which I know many of us are doing at this time. There was also a past life that I had that was part of this lesson. And so I went on this really long healing journey for the last year. give through the guidance of what I was told was that I was to feel every emotion that was coming up, and a lot of it was terror, a lot of it was fear, and realizing now a lot of it was just not feeling safe in my body, not feeling just safe in general. And so over the year, I've been doing a lot of meditation work, visualization work, working within not just my own reproductive area within the womb of my own space, but going into my mom's womb when I was conceived, and working and healing from that point on. And I know I've shared a meditation with you guys on one of my YouTube channels of that. And there was also, I've received a lot of help from friends like Lisa, who's watching her light language. She did a light language video for healing for me. And when I watched that, I had an instant Kundalini activation, bursting into tears. My friend Dee Dee has helped translate that light language to also give me more context about what I was going through. And going to the Mayan Tulum ruins was very healing for me as well when I went on my cruise. I didn't realize it at the time. In fact, when I booked that whole trip, I didn't know any of this was going to be happening. But when I was there, I received 2 Kundalini activations and massive healing. That by the time March came around, I had some friends who were able to see into my DNA, my cells, and saw the huge burst of new tissue growth and healthy tissue growth happening in this in my area of the sacral chakra. And so in a session with Rebecca in January of last year, I asked what would be the timeline of healing to be expected, knowing that everything's fluid and that time is, timelines are constantly changing on the choices that we make and all of that, but just to kind of get like a rough estimate. And they told me October of this year. Well, this October, about last week, I had to go back to the doctors and had to have everything checked out again. And I totally forgot that it was October, and I totally forgot that that was the date given to me of healing. And when I went into when I went to sit on the examination table, and I was all alone, and you're naked from the waist down with this sheet over your legs, and I'm waiting for the doctor to come in the room, and all of a sudden I just started to get really scared, and I started to feel really unsafe, and I started crying sitting on this examination table, because even though I've been getting all this higher guidance and channeled messages coming through that healing was happening, and people were telling me they saw all this healing happening, when it comes to the actual moment of truth of knowing what's actually happened, I just knew I couldn't bear it if it got worse. And I started to get really, really scared. I started crying on this examination table, and I thought, oh my God, I feel like I'm 6 years old sitting on this table all alone, and so worried that potentially my dreams like of becoming a mother may still be on hiatus. And so the woman came in the room, and everything was checked, and at the end of checking everything, I asked her, I said, so the black spots, how do they look? Are they worse? Is there any improvement? Is there more? Like, I don't know. And she looked at me and she said, I didn't see any black spots. And I kind of just sat there dumbfounded going, you mean they're gone? And she said, yeah, there's nothing there. And she's like, you're fine. And so this is fantastic news, but at the same time, it was so weird. I still felt like I was excited. I'm like, wow, this healing actually happened. And to think that all this visualization work and doing things the way I knew I wanted to do it through energetic work and emotional work and all of that kind of healing. Thank you, Kevin. And it was a happy day that day. Don't get me wrong. I was super happy and super excited. And I just, in some ways, was still in shock that it had all come true. Like everything was healed. But through all that, I realized that there's this element of not feeling safe, that I still don't trust my body, because this is something that has carried through lifetime after lifetime, since the inception of this a Mayan lifetime where this all started. And I've been going through these emotions coming up of not feeling safe and needing to address it and find out, going back in time, of where the root is of me not feeling safe. And it all came down to just really needing to be vulnerable. The guidance that was coming through from my higher self and also from my Pleiadian team was that this is kind of like all part of the plan of continued healing and strengthening, but also part of my journey of moving more into my feminine energy and allowing myself to be very vulnerable and show the sides of me that I don't normally show even my closest friends or family. Because I always like to show people that I got all together. I'm strong. I got it all together. I got my shit figured out. Like, I can help you. Like, I'm an intuitive life coach, and I love coaching people. And I do it because I've learned so much on my own journey over these past 12 years specifically, because it's been a very deep journey the last 12 years. But it's as much as I'm a coach and all of that, I'm still a student at the same time. And I think it's important for me to really share the more vulnerable side with me so that my clients feel safe, revealing all of their, I guess you can call them hidden secrets or walls that we kind of put up and hide behind. And yes, I know I have to look at when I was 6. That's definitely come through already. Thank you, Lisa. And so I just wanted to do this video, and I'm going to start doing this Raw and Real series because there's a lot of stuff coming up right now, and I just want to be really honest and authentic. Being my true self is so important to me right now, and it's so important to my healing. I'm working on my next book that's all about vulnerability and authenticity, and I kind of wanted to start here with these live series before I actually finish the book. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you who tuned in and to offer your support. I love you guys so much. It's been an amazing journey up to this point, and it's going to continue to be an amazing journey with lots of peaks and valleys, I'm sure. That's why we're here. But yeah, this is just me being raw and real and crying on live video. So I think the streaming quality has kind of dropped. Okay, so I'm gonna close it out here because the streaming quality in this hotel is not the greatest, even though I've paid for the high speed. There's no such thing as high speed here. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I will be back again soon with a new series, episode 2, coming out when more of these safety issues come up.